It's a day many New Orleanians will never forget. November 29th, 1972. Flames tore through the Rault Center in downtown New Orleans, a building made up of apartments and offices. On the 15th floor, a beauty salon, where 5 women were trapped inside. People watched in horror as the women hung out of one of the windows looking for an escape. Finally, one by one, they jumped onto the roof of a neighboring building, 8 stories below.
I was going down head first, but when I turned over, this camera didn't see it. But I landed on my feet.
79-year-old Natalie Smith is the sole survivor of the blaze.
I remember getting on my knees and calling out to Jesus and said, Jesus, if you can hear me, please take care of me because the Roy and the kids need me.
In 1972, Smith was married to the love of her life, Roy Smith, seen here in this Fox 8 story done to commemorate the 20-year anniversary of the fire. Smith was also a mother to 4 kids under the age of 17. She went to the salon that fateful day to get her hair done, never thinking she might not make it out alive.
I had a standing appointment Wednesday, and because my husband was a paraplegic and I took care of him, that was my one day out.
At the time the fire started, Smith was getting ready to leave the salon, but she was supposed to have been gone already. Smith that morning gave up her earlier appointment to another customer, a woman who was trying to get her hair done on her lunch break from work.
This one particular lady, I forget who she is, I don't even know who she is, was gonna be late. So I let her take my place. Well, she got out the building, I didn't.
So after waiting and then getting her hair done, Smith was ready to leave. She headed towards the door, but then she and the other ladies saw the flames.
So I opened the door and the fire was coming down. I thought we could crawl to the exit, but with the fire coming down, it would have burned us. So I shut the door.
The 5 ladies trapped inside included Smith, the salon owner, 1 employee, and 2 customers. They needed to think quickly.
We took one of the chairs and busted out a window.
Natalie Smith doesn't remember much beyond this point. TV footage captured the women jumping. Smith has never seen the footage, afraid that viewing it will trigger painful memories. One of the salon employees, Wilma, survived the fall, but died about a month later. The other 3 died on impact. Smith lay in a coma for months, until the day in 1973 when she says her son helped her to wake up.
My oldest son, when he gets nervous, he talks constantly, you know, and fast. And he was this close to my face. And I awoke at the time. And I looked at my son and said, Marcel, shut up.
Smith woke with her humor still intact and to find herself in a body cast. Most of her bones were broken in the fall.
My pelvis was broken in 3 spots. I broke my back, ribs, collarbone, and my teeth had been capped.
Surprisingly, there was no damage to any of the jewelry Smith wore, despite the 8-story fall.
No scratch, no dent, no nothing.
For months, Smith lay in her bed, relying on the kindness of neighbors and her kids to help take care of her and her husband, Roy, confined to a wheelchair.
Do you regret going there that day to the Rault Center?
No. You know, God has a plan for your life.
It's God that Smith credits with saving her life that day, not only physically, but spiritually as well.
The main good is that I found Jesus as my Savior. The good is the help that I can give other people, the hope and the faith I can give them.
After the accident, Smith and her husband started a ministry, helping kids who were behind bars for getting into trouble with the law.
Wherever we could go, we'd go.
Smith told the kids about her accident and how she found the strength to rebuild her life. A volunteer relayed this story to her once.
One of the children said to her he never believed in miracles. And after I spoke, he went to her and he said, Now I've seen a miracle. Now I believe in miracles.
Smith hopes she inspired the kids to turn their lives around. She says her own life certainly changed after the accident, but moving on isn't always so easy.
This is the purse I had the day of the fire, and I threw it out the window, and it was found on the roof.
40 years later, it's still hard for Smith to think about the fire, and coming to the old Rault Center is out of the question. Although it's just a shell of a building, she says the memories are too painful.
Life stops there and then it starts here. So that in between, I don't even think about. And I don't think about the fact that I wouldn't be here or anything like that.
The Rault Center fire was a terrible tragedy, but some good did come out of it. Lawmakers required all high-rise buildings to install sprinkler systems after the fire.
I think it's great. I think it's great. It makes me secure.
Authorities still aren't sure to this day what caused the blaze. To Natalie Smith, finding out how and why isn't so important. She's focused on living her life to the fullest and cherishing every day she has as if it were her last. Meg Gatto, Fox 8 News.